As you know, the Hall of Fame is where basketball legends earn their place in the history books, and some of the names gracing the walls of the Naismith Memorial need no introduction. However, despite the bar being set very high, it's still not set in stone, so one class may differ from another in terms of quality. That doesn't take away anything from the players making it to the Hall of Fame, but the unfixed criteria can raise questions whether some of them will make it at all or not. Last year, in 2023, some of the guys entering the Hall of Fame were none other than Dirk Nowitzki, Tony Parker, Dwayne Wade, Pau Gasol, and coach Greg Popovich. That tells you enough about how big of an impact you must have during your career to be granted a place among the immortals. The problem arises while some of them are actively playing and debates go on and off about whether they'll earn their spot at the wall or not, which might be unfair due to their careers still being a work in progress. Judging a player's legacy while there's still room for him to improve it, or even worse, while he's at the lowest point of his career, just seems to be distasteful and shows weakness of character. Today, we're debunking the drama around James Harden and whether he's already earned the right to prepare for his Hall of Fame speech delivery. We know Harden has given us some very good and some very bad moments, but it seems like people have forgotten way too quickly how much of a beast this guy was just years ago. Hello basketball fans and welcome to Hoop Vision. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Takes only a second, costs nothing, and will give you access to more basketball stories. So, the main thing that happened after Harden's decline was that people started questioning him as a player in general. Yes, the episode in Philly could have gone much better, but it's not like he's the only one to blame for that series against the Celtics. The biggest disrespect Harden receives is through media analysts choosing to turn a blind eye to all the good things he's still doing, and point out all of the negatives that are actually quite normal when players reach a certain age. In his defense, even though he doesn't play it, the man is 34. And of course he slowed down over the years. But man, when James Harden was in his prime, he was an offensive powerhouse. The guy was torturing defenses left and right, which earned him the scoring title 3 years in a row. All of those were 30+ points per game seasons, the highest one being 2018-19, where he averaged an insane 36 points per game on 52% from the field and 37% from beyond the arc. From 2018 to 2020, the guy with the most points scored after every year was the one owning a long black beard with number 13 on his back. The term "fear the beard" wasn't invented for no reason, and some of his stepbacks have been replayed to this day. If you think scoring titles don't mean much for Hall of Fame introduction, just take a look at these numbers. Michael Jordan is the number 1 with 10 of them. Then there's Wilt Chamberlain with 7, and 3 players have managed to win it 4 times in their career: George Gervin, Allen Iverson, and KD. After them, there are only 4 guys with 3 scoring titles next to their name: George Mikan, Neil Johnson, Bob McAdoo, and James Harden. 10 guys won it 2 times, and that's it. The list is pretty exclusive when it comes to players who managed to get it more than once, so the fact Harden did it 3 years in a row makes this accomplishment even crazier. He was a consistent scorer who made Houston legit contenders, and if they had just a bit more luck in the postseason, he might have had a championship on his resume. However, painting James Harden as scorer only would not be fair to his other qualities as a player. The guy won the MVP award in the 2017 and 18 season, and that doesn't happen unless you're also a team facilitator. That year, he averaged 8.8 assists next to his 30 points per game, and the Rockets really looked like they were the ones to take the West from Golden State. Mind you, he averaged this number of assists while having Chris Paul as his teammate. That makes it even more impressive. Unfortunately, that was almost the year Houston lost the Western Conference Finals in 7 games, and who knows what could have been if Paul never got injured and played the entire series. James was really good in that series, averaging 28 points and 6 assists per game, but his 3-point shooting took a real hit, dropping down from the season's 37 to just 24. However, that run with the Rockets still remains as one of the most entertaining ones during the Warriors era. Harden was really playing like a madman during his time in Houston, and was an all-star every year of his tenure. The MVP award slipped away from him 2 more times when he ended up second in votes. One to Westbrook in 16-17 and one to Giannis in the 2018-19 season. Besides the 10 All-Star appearances, Harden also had 6 All-NBA first-team selections, which also speaks volumes on where he ranked in the league during his prime years. The competition was insane back in those days. Curry, Lillard, Westbrook, Paul, and other guards were all in their best years, and still, Harden made it to the first All-NBA for 4 straight seasons. He also led the league in assists 2 times, one of them being in the 2022 and 23 season, proving everyone he was more than just a ball hog who shot backstep threes from the bench. So far, Harden has scored 25,000 points in the NBA and is third in three-point shots made, behind only Ray Allen and Steph Curry. He's only 33 pointers away from catching up to Ray, so if he avoids getting injured this season, the NBA will have to make the changes on that all-time list. Once upon a time, Reggie Miller's record seemed unattainable, but Ray Allen did it with his amazing shot that looked impossible to replicate. Then, Steph Curry came and changed history. It was probably due to his three-point dominance that we've missed how good of a three-point shooter Harden actually was. The game was evolving right in front of our eyes, and Curry wasn't the only one creating the atmosphere in which the three-point shot was becoming the norm. What makes Harden's place on this list even more impressive is the difficulty of three-pointers he made. If you remember Reggie Miller, he was great moving without the ball and finding the open space. Ray was also a master of using screens and getting open looks. Curry did hit some impossible shots, but used the relocation three like nobody else. And then there was Harden, who would dribble you to death and hit a step-back three in your face. We could argue about his shot selection, but you don't make 2,940 three-pointers in the NBA on accident. The Beard was a unique player in his own ways, which is why it hurts seeing him getting disrespected on many occasions during the TV debates. What they also forget many times was that he was always the man on his team. In Houston, he was the first option for years, and left only when it was obvious he couldn't get it done for them anymore. He didn't jump ships, didn't join anyone's bandwagon. Harden gave it all to the Rockets, and when you think about it, he was battling in the West when the conference was at one of its best days. You had the Warriors becoming even more godlike after adding KD, the Clippers and the Spurs were still contending in their own right, and if the Paul's Game 5 injury never happened, Harden and CP3 would be looked at as the ones who ended the era of Golden State bullying the West. Another thing that's massively underrated about Harden is his longevity. The man has been playing in the league for 15 years now, and he's still going forward for at least 2 more seasons. The fact he never skipped an entire one due to an injury is huge in an era where ankles, knees, and back injuries are more frequent than ever is an impressive feat in itself. Also, the man is an Olympic champion with the 2012 USA's national team, and despite not ending up with the NBA title, has that winner's aura around him that not many players were able to ever radiate during their careers. So what that he's never won a ring? Neither did Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, and many other legends. In the end, saying that James Harden doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame is just basketball blasphemy. There are so many players with similar or worse resumes that have entered the immortal Hall of Basketball, so excluding Harden would be such a great injustice. Hopefully, the Hall of Fame committee will be objective enough when the time comes to vote for Harden's introduction, and until then, all we can do is follow what remains of his career, hope he wins a chip, and prepares one hell of a speech. That's it for today, Hoop Fam. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments what do you think of James Harden's career and whether you think he'll be able to win a ring before he retires. Thank you for watching and growing this channel. Make sure you don't miss out on more NBA stories by hitting that subscribe button. See you in the next one.